People who, in many instances, have absolutely no clue what they are doing. The Marxists, the anarchists, the looters.
Okay, well, after a few weeks, after a few weeks, just leaving off on episode 100 of just a nothing Google AI fun episode. It's an Aim Blather, episode 101.
Ooh.
And that's it.
And scene.
No, the drops aren't going to sound very good because I still have my setup incorrect. Oh, well, sucks for you. But so there won't be very many drops. Anyway, it's episode 101 of Inane Blather, where we blather inanely. It's your not the best podcast. It's your favorite podcast. Because you consider yourself, like all of the other listeners, to be in a family. A family of...
headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
What?
I don't know what it sounds like on your end. But, it sounds good because it's right in front of your face. But it just cuts out and stuff. It just
a
like
tablet
shit.
into a microphone.
Oh,
well, I could go and reset my Discord settings so that you could hear it, but I'm not gonna do that. So we will forego the many drops until the bitches leave. But so if you're a new listener, I'm sorry. I know that we got maybe a couple of new listeners since we were featured on the R.M. Brown Quamets program. Which, see, and now you're not going to be able to hear any of these. Just made me feel like... But
I couldn't hear
maybe you can hear that one.
It just, you played it, and I'm looking at you on Discord, and you just play it, and you're like kind of self-satisfied smile, and it's just like totally dead air, but maybe, I don't know.
This is weird.
It's like
I just tried to do it so it's like the same volume as my voice, but yeah. Anyway.
Well, I think what got a lot of attention was actually your music, the intro music that you created.
No, the intro song.
Yeah. So
the intro song, which
good
now,
job to Doug.
Of course, by the time you, dear listener, hear this, it'll already be done.
Multi-platinum.
But as of this moment, I'm going to have to go make sure. I'm pretty sure I have that whole song uploaded to YouTube, so I can just download it again. Just go to some website where you could download YouTubes to MP3s, because it's all on my computer.
Where's that?
That my old Mac Pro, the old workhorse that has 100 episodes of Inane Blather and a bunch of music, and it's sitting in a dark, smoky garage. Because as everyone who listens to the show knows, probably, my house is being renovated. My house burned down.
That's one way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to get a new house, but yeah. It's just, I don't even know where to start. I haven't even written down, like, things to talk about on the show, this and that. Everything's been such a fucking blur. It's been weeks since we've uploaded anything, and you'd feel like if I could get anything done right, I would have something to say. But I did kind of write a little bit, like on Patreon, talking to R.M. Brown's fan base, the fellow muscular class, yada, yada, yada. But I've been so thankful that, that we surround ourselves with a good community. It's really, it's things like this that you actually see the concept of community and gosh, the solidarity and all this like kind of put to the test for an individual person, and it's really hard to accept all of the help that we've received and stuff. But I just know that hopefully people would know that I would like to do the same for others. I always want to chip in and help if someone has a problem. And now being on the receiving end after losing our home has been really overwhelming and really humbling. It is what it is. I have insurance, and I'm going to build a new house, and still a lot of the stuff that I lost can never be replaced. And I lost my dogs, which is the toughest part out of all of it. I still think about it every day. And it makes it tough to go to sleep at night. I don't have them here with me, so. But, yeah, it's like even last night I just, I still have a bunch of crap on the bed. and I haven't put it away because I hate. I've only slept in this bed alone here at the new place like once so far. I've slept there with Sophia staying over. I put on some Futurama and stuff, but it's like, well, I'll sleep on the couch. It's just so weird. It's those little things where it's like you're coming home expecting something to be there, and there's nothing. Okay, never mind.
I think,
anyway.
Doug, I hope I want you to know that some of this, what I've noticed throughout this, is like how incredibly deep toxic masculinity goes, because every single person would totally understand why someone would get completely choked up.
No,
and
yeah.
burst. I'm trying to talk here. See,
it's
toxic masculinity cutting me up. Legit.
Yeah, mansplaining.
Saying that it's okay to let those things out. People have those feelings. Every single person who's, even if you haven't had an animal, but if you have, it's like literally people's like worst nightmare. What you went through, lost these dogs.
Ugh.
It's totally okay to, to break down. People love it. It's great for content. No, but it's, people care about how people feel is what I'm going to say. And it's nothing to be like ashamed of or embarrassed by or like feel like it's too much. It's like, your dog's died
and that's
in
a
your
good
house
point
fire.
to talk about for sure. It's a good way. Yeah. And coming across like, the awkwardness of a man crying, or like to the man himself. It's just exactly. you don't want to show it or something. But I'm just saying, never mind. It's like I just don't want to spend the time doing that on a podcast. It's like I'm excited to be back podcasting with you. It's like I've been looking forward to it, and we've spent the last hour of me being like, God damn it, what the fuck's wrong here? I can't get it. I'm going to send this back, piece of shit. And I got all this new stuff, and it's just a different setup and different gear. But yeah, it's really, I've just been so lucky. And karma can be good. I feel like I'm a decent person, so... But yeah, with how things have come together, all of these coincidences, like I have a convenient place that I immediately was able to move into. It's not going to be very convenient in a few months. There's going to be a lot of stuff to work on, but it's like, man, people really wanted to help, and it's been incredibly helpful. And it's just going to suck that, all the... I don't know, all this stuff to rebuild the house. I mean, I'll have a new house out of it, but it's just going to be a project. It'll be putting my business degree in project management to the test finally, and taking care of this. So which is totally fine. I mean, I kind of look forward to that part of it. It just sucks that it'll be happening while I already have a full-time job, mainly.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
And
but
it's
it'll be
not like
kind
you're
of
doing
nice
it because you just
to
like
get it
wanted
done.
to build a house.
Yeah, because I just it's like, well, I've got a couple $100,000. Let me. It's like, no, it's just because my house burned down and I have an insurance policy that'll cover most of this. But yeah, and it's funny, like, I was thinking, like, the idea of, one thing that I did write down, though, okay, because I just haven't been in the habit of writing down little notes like I usually do. Last time was shout out to Homestar Runner or whatever. But a friend asked about the podcast, and I sent it over, and then I started listening to it. So shout out to Phaedra if you're listening. We love you. But anyway, so I was and I wrote, it's funny. I listened back to episode 100, and that episode I was upset over losing audio for a podcast. LMAO. Like, that's what I wrote on here. All caps. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. Well, I lost my audio for that, and we had to re-record it the next night or whatever it was. So, and I was like, oh man, if only I knew what was gonna happen the next week. The day, and we're talking about my birthday coming up and stuff.
Oh yeah, Doug's house burnt down
really
one
funny.
day before his birthday. So
yeah. Happy birthday. But yeah, it's funny getting upset over the things that you can lose, and small problems are still problems, and we talk about how relative issues or problems or oppression or anything, like everyone, it's not a competition. But then it's funny when you look at it in your own life and be like, man, what an idiot. Who cares, man? Like, your house is going to burn down. But yeah, you're going to lose pretty much everything. Now, a lot of the stuff in the garage was quote-unquote saved. I mean, it didn't burn down, but I don't know. Some of the stuff's kind of ruined. And then the heat and the moisture and the fact that I don't have power anymore in there, or cooling or anything like that, isn't looking good for most of the stuff. But yeah. How was your past 3 weeks?
It's been so incredibly busy, actually. I've been really, really, really just crazy busy. Like,
and we've both been able to have our niece, which has been really fun.
Yeah,
so
been
that was one of the number one things for me. Was like, I was like, oh my god, my house. I was like, next week I'm gonna have my niece up from Las Vegas. I've been thinking about it for like 2 months. Like, I'm gonna have her for a week at the house. They get to hang out and play Switch and play with the dogs and be at the house and do all this stuff. And then someone's like, okay, all right, we're gonna figure something out here. But it was still really nice having her, and you have her now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do, and that's been really nice. That was part of it, like going down to Vegas. I was there for like 5 days, and blah 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 blah. I got a new job. I've been doing like all these events for my job, because I'm an organizer now. And no big deal, just like Barack
Congratulations
Obama.
to Natalie on the new job.
Yeah, pretty proud of
Even
that.
though
Natalie hates non-binary people.
Well,
Okay,
I think that
I
was
know
a
you
Natalie
can't hear
hates
it, but-
non-binary people, but
oh yeah,
I'll have to
you
take your
got
word
it.
for
you
it.
got
Yeah. Yeah, brought our niece over to your place, stayed there a couple days. We watched a movie that I'm not going to give away right now, but maybe you guys will hear about it later at
Yeah.
another time. I had a lot of thoughts about it, especially as compared to El Libro, when looking up the differences with Humby, because I have not read the book, and from the sounds of it, I don't really plan to. Yeah.
Yeah, books are stupid.
Yeah, I agree. But I also finished a really good book that I recommended to Doug.
Yeah.
That maybe you guys will hear about
exactly.
it. Yeah, I feel like it's just been going. But it's like
So you got a new job.
Yeah.
It's important. It's cool. Really, we're all proud of you. It's pretty badass. We saw your professional quote with your photo on like the website or something. And your job is assisted suicide nurse. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like,
no.
Yeah.
You're doing the other job.
Yeah. I should say it's like, the organization I work for, their opinion is not affiliated with mine. I'm not speaking on their behalf because they're, they probably wouldn't
No,
like
but what's
some of our
the
ACAB
broad
stuff.
strokes? Yeah.
Yeah. We're working on, I'll say it. We're working on bringing ranked choice voting to the state of Washington as a way to strengthen our democracy and bring more representation to the electorate and give people actual choice, to vote for the people that they want to. It's like very, very simple. Places do it. Alaska does it. Maine does it. Australia has always done it pretty much. Well, not always, but like 100 years. Ireland, all these places. It just works. I mean, it's just a better way. It's with our divisive times, the presidential election, really great example of everything that people are sick of. With no matter what your political beliefs, the presidential campaign is something that pretty much every American is sick of. But you have no choice. Two candidates that you hate. You throw away your vote if you do a third party. It's a total mudslinging mud fest. There's no policies being discussed. Any of these things. There's absolutely no like reaching across any sort of aisle situation. There's no broad appeal. You're just galvanizing very much a base and actively like making the other side, quote unquote, like angry, and like that being, sort of the point. And whatever. So, ranked choice voting like addresses
at the risk
a lot
of
things.
risk of sounding like corny, politically illiterate, centrist idiots. It's divisive. It just makes us more divided, man. But it really does. First past the post, right, system kind of that we have creates like there's great breakdowns of this that we've all seen, especially like back in 2016 when it's going around, when I first learned about ranked choice voting, because they're like, this is how our first past the post system consolidates our choices into two pieces of crap every time. It's why third parties have not just a difficult time, but a pretty much impossible time. Not
pretty much impossible. It is impossible.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because you have to just end up the fact that we have to talk about electability at all.
Strategic voting.
It's just like, it's so stupid. Like, just taking a step back, like kind of looking at it objectively, and the fact that for an election, it's like, yeah, but who's more electable? What the fuck?
The person with the best motherfucking ideas, you dumb idiots. It's like the person with the best ideas should be the one who's the most electable because it speaks to the most people. Yeah. And I'll say ranked choice voting, the number one thing about it that I tell people is, in a ranked choice voting election, you cannot win unless you have over 50% of the vote. The winner has to have majority of the vote, which it's like so unbelievably simple. Yeah. And it's like, isn't that how a democracy should be represented? So the winner has to have been most people's.
In France?
They do it all over the place. They do. It kind of they have like different. There's a lot of different.
I just
styles,
remember France having a runoff because and you get what you do. That's the best. It's like ranked choice to get to, like, either, of course, someone gets over 50%, boom. A winner with over 50% is done. And if it's not, then you have a runoff with two candidates. And then we're back to, okay, then we'll figure it out. So,
or
and
you just
the
have a
winner's the
straight up,
winner.
it's all on the
Chicken
same
dinner.
ballot. You don't have to do a runoff because people have already voted. They've already voted. You first
I'm saying-
round, yeah, well, whatever.
Oh,
But
yeah,
the way
yeah,
that we do
true.
it, or we're talking about first round, it's just the first choice votes, and then like you said, if no one gets over 50%, or if someone gets over the 50% of the vote, they're the winner. Most people chose them as their first choice candidate. If nobody gets over 50%, then the last place candidate is taken out of the race. They were never a viable candidate to begin with. But those people who really believed in that candidate, they don't have their vote wasted. The people who voted for their last place candidate with the first choice vote, now their second choice vote is put into the totals. So the winner of the election had to be most people's either first, second, or third. Like, people had to have voted for that person specifically on their ballot for them to be able to win. It's not possible to win with 40% of the vote and have the other 60% splintered among other candidates. You don't have to worry about throwing away votes. You don't have to worry about strategic voting. You can just literally vote with your conscience. This woman came up to me at the Fremont Fair and she really, really, really wanted RFK Jr. She was obsessed with him. She's like, I just think all the Kennedys should be in power, and all these other ones, they're just sitting there. I don't know what they're doing. They're just hanging out with their families. And RFK Jr., he's the one I really want. I really want all the Kennedys in power, which is whatever. Fine. I say, you know what?
Yeah.
If you want to vote for RFK,
And then you just jabbed her with a vaccine, and you're like, you're gonna die now. And she's like, no.
If you want to vote for RFKJ, then you should feel like you can and not feel like you're going to literally get, in that case, of course, the presidential election, then getting Donald Trump elected, you shouldn't have to feel like you have to worry about not voting with your conscience, so then you get
my
a
second choice
fascist
would have been
elected.
Joe Biden.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
Because if we
Although,
had
who
ranked choice
knows with
voting in the
those RFK
2016 votes, or people probably would have put Hillary, been willing to put her as their second choice if they could have maybe voted for some other candidate first for all these protest votes.
Bernie.
And then she still would have been people's motherfucking second choice, and she would have been able to win. But whatever. I mean, that's speculation, but obviously she would have been able to.
And that's with... Yeah. And
people
then
had to choose her as the best
different...
candidate for them, and that's not fair to ask of us.
Yeah, or Joe Biden right now. I mean, and that's a second conversation about the presidential election anyway.
Yeah,
in the
because it's
fucking
electoral campaigns,
college.
whatever. That's just saying the candidates
electoral
themselves.
College, but
let's say the electoral college.
If you put this in a governor's race, it makes
whatever.
That's
the presidential one is just so easy to point to because it's so they're horrible. They're the most horrible, least liked candidates, least supported. Nobody wants to. I mean, I guess Trump supporters, want to vote for him, but they're nobody.
Ooh,
people voted.
They love that guy.
But they're
That's weird.
There's very few people that really actually support him. And actually, a guy at the Fremont Fair told me that he was I like things how they are. Trump. Yeah. And I'm yeah, cool. But I'm thinking yeah, no shit, because he only needs 30% of the population, the voting population, to agree with him. And the other 70% is just shit out of luck. I bet you like the way it is now.
Yeah.
Get out of Seattle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, just kidding.
So
everyone's
go
welcome.
dunk your head in a 5-gallon bucket of cement, of wet cement.
I was thinking of
breathe in very hard. It's just a suggestion, okay? These do not.
I heard Trump did it. Yeah.
Our opinions do not reflect.
Yeah.
Trump did it. He said it cured coronavirus.
That's what I was thinking.
Just a shout out to Vanilla Opinions. Someone that I follow. Some people hate them. It's really funny if you're on Twitter. I'm sure you know who they are. But yeah, some great back and forth. Some very great bait. Good old bait on Twitter. So I think they're really funny. But just posted this little chart today saying very normal political system. So we've got, for the blue, popular vote probability, 51%, electoral college probability, 33.7%. And for the red, of course, popular vote probability, 49%, electoral college probability 65.7%. Like, what the fuck? What, like, it's just so obvious. Like, even past ranked choice, like, I mean, we'll just keep complaining about this until November and beyond.
Well, for sure,
But,
especially depending on what
the
happens.
electoral college, like, and all of it, like, I mean, I understand that people aren't as politically engaged and stuff like that, but we've got a big swaths of adult people, just millennials, that, like, don't you remember finding out about how the electoral college worked in the year 2000 and you were shocked by the fact that the person who didn't get the most votes won? Like, hasn't that stuck with you? Hasn't it stuck with, like, millions of people? Like, it was just like, what? Well, that doesn't make sense. Why don't we change that? Like, I mean, it's one thing arguing with someone who, you know, to me, ignorantly believes the normal things that prop up the electoral college. Well, we don't want everywhere being run by California and New York. Shut up. Doesn't make any sense. Sorry. I don't even engage with that anymore. It's like, yeah, sorry. I like democracy, okay? Not your ideas of somehow a state running the country. Doesn't make any sense. Sorry. Back it up. Like, literally.
And what Humby likes to say,
also,
there are more Republicans in California than there are in any other state.
Yes. Exactly. It's like, so you don't care about those people's votes. It's like, and on top of that, it's like, well, we don't want the country being run by California and New York. Well, I don't want the country being run by Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Florida. You know, I mean, not Florida as much anymore, but it's like the electoral college, it's just so obvious that this should be changed. It sucks that, of course, there are big hurdles to changing it, you know, because it's a constitutional issue. But
yeah, we've only amended it how many fucking times?
It's funny. It's like
Jesus
this.
Christ.
Yeah, it's
there's like a bunch of amendments in it.
It's funny how it's like, well, if the people in charge actually represented our views and our interests at large, then this would be something that we could change for the country. Because overall, people, I think, don't agree with the electoral college results. Like, I mean, just the idea of Republican, Democrat, Independent, like, hey, do you think the person with the most votes should win the election? Or do you think someone with fewer votes should win the election? It's pretty, I think people are kind of on the side of democracy here.
What I feel like
at least
is,
over
doesn't
half.
Wyoming...
But it's funny how it just cycles that it's like, well, if they actually represented us, this would be something that's at the forefront of political discussion and something that should change. But they don't really represent us. And part of the reason is because of things that are in place, like the Electoral College. It's like, I mean, the president's not going to fucking talk about it because they won the Electoral College to get there, and they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit what you say. You're just going to seem like a sore loser. It sucks that the number one thing that could actually bring this into actual meaningful debate and discussion on a national stage would be a Republican losing the Electoral College and winning the popular vote. If that happened,
I was just thinking about that
shit
today
would go
about
crazy.
Trump. If that happened to him, how that
and
would
it
freak
just won't
out.
happen.
And it would be like, oh,
Exactly.
it was election
They'd be on
interference or some
board.
bullshit anyway. They would just
No,
say he
yeah,
did
that's
win.
true,
He
but-
did win the popular vote. He won the popular
that's a
vote
good
against
point.
Hillary. You idiot. So
Yeah, exactly.
What I-
That's true. I guess he did win the Electoral College, and he thinks that He won the popular vote, but
Though he
there
lost
was
it by
4
3 million, or whatever.
illegals or
Yeah.
whatever.
I think about
That's
when
true.
I've always thought the Electoral College, that's what I feel like with you, where it's like, this is a stupid, dumb, it doesn't make any sense because it's like, you know how you get motherfucking Wyoming represented in the Senate is with its 2 senators, that also California with 33
Yes.
or 36 million people, they also have 2 senators. They have more representatives
Yes.
for sure, but not as
that's-
much as in relation to the actual fucking populations. Wyoming has like
Right.
literally like nobody there compared to California.
Yeah.
It's like very much empty space, and they're represented where it's represented states. And the federal government, what I think why it should be popular vote is because what you do with the federal government is you erase all of those motherfucking state lines, and it's the United States. It's the United States from above.
Yeah.
These things without any lines. It's this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter Oregon or Alaska or Pennsylvania or Hawaii or whatever. It's the United States. And then those rules
The
that
United
appear,
States.
then they're filtered down, you know, these, but except for that's not how it's, because it's like states' rights bullshit, except for the Constitution is like a federal thing that makes all of the like rules that the states have to follow or abide within or whatever. But I just think
I mean,
it
what's
just,
the name of our country?
I don't know.
United States.
We're united under our fucking
United
federal
States.
government, you know, that whole huge federal government that we have. That's like the overarching thing that is like the United States. It's like if you look at a satellite map, not one with lines, it's like, why would a place that's devoid of people and full of sheep have more voting power than the place where literally almost all of the fucking people live?
You mean Congress?
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
I was trying to. You mean Texas?
I just think if we were Americans would be so fucking arrogant
well-
if we looked over at a country like India and it was like, oh, all these people in this area, you know, there's like 10 people here and there's literally like 8 million in this city and they have the same amount of representation or whatever it would be like. They'd be like, oh, they're so stupid and ignorant. It's like, why would they give all their, you know, it just looks so fucking stupid. We look so dumb with this, and the history of the Electoral College is racist. So it's like it has to do with owning
it's
slaves.
all to give slave states.
Yeah.
That's a big issue. I think that like and I mean that's usually my response as well. If I don't just hand wave it off and say shut up, it doesn't make any sense. The Electoral College, it's that that's what the Senate is for. And I like, now if we had, let's say, if we elected all these people in these representative positions with something like ranked choice voting, if people, you know, if our legislators more accurately represented us, the idea of the 2 houses of Congress, I think, is good overall. It's like that's where because you have just a straight up, you know, representative legislature. If it was set up right, you know, if people actually
It's
represent
not. Yeah.
in the House of Representatives, and then you have the Senate where it's like, hey, doesn't matter how many people you have, this state, this small sovereign union in and of itself has legislative representation equal to the other states. It's like, so you get both, right? And those 2 things have to compromise and come together to create federal law that oversees everyone. And it's like the presidency, it's an executive position. It's not for legislation. It's not not even like, I mean, we think of it as being like, oh, we want someone who represents us. And it's like, but not in the same sense. Represents us like shows up to meetings for us. That's how they represent us. Like they're the leader, you know, it's an executive, it's a CEO, that sort of thing. It's like, it shouldn't have any bearing like on like, well, there's fewer people in this state and their voice needs to be heard and stuff. It's like, no, this is just the leader of the executive branch, you know? And I think that the idea that places with fewer people, rural places may need like a leg up in certain ways to have their voice heard. Minority, not in the normal parlance, but minorities need to be able to have their voices heard too, and that makes sense for legislation, for representative democracy to make the laws, and that's what the Senate is for. End of story. Like, just the Electoral College pisses me off, man. Did you know that? Did you know that it makes me mad?
And like, what do they think is gonna like? It's like, so what do you think the president is gonna? It shows a lot about people's like understandings of like what you would do in power, or like ideas of what you do with power, is to just be like, give the middle finger to all the places that didn't vote for you, or all these like small areas. It's just like, you're just gonna leave them behind.
Yeah.
Like, is that what
to
you
be
would?
Trump.
Yeah. Right. I mean, like, he literally is like saying like, fuck the cities and stuff, and like, I'm not gonna give aid to Seattle and San Francisco and New York and all this kind of crap and whatever. And yeah, I feel like it's like, what good? It's like, I mean, I guess it's a very cynical view, which I can totally understand, I guess. It's like, you think that they're just there for your vote or whatever, but it's not a good look. We wouldn't like it if I don't think people in these West Coast cities, unless you're super out of touch, like really want to see people in the Midwest and like these small rural areas like suffering and dying, and like their towns being like having no economy, and kids like, it's like, that's such a horrible problem, like some of these rural areas, they need help, and it'd be
post-industrial areas too, not just rural, but these underserved places, that there needs to be. It's like we almost need a way where collectively we all together make sure that everyone has this thing. It's like, oh yeah, that's what the federal government is for, to make sure that we're all moving forward, we're all on the same page, and places like fucking Alabama or Detroit still can move forward with the rest of the country, and we can make progress, and people have their voices heard and are protected, and have their needs met and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know.
And
it's
you
like,
know what?
It's like they
Jack,
give you 5 Qs and only 2 Us. What a world.
Yeah, it's crazy. But
okay, I was waiting for that. Okay.
And another thing is, I recently rewatched.
And another thing.
Yeah, rewatched Hamilton with our niece. It's the fourth time I've watched
Never heard
it,
of
but
it.
and there's like
She
some conversations
loves it.
between
Oh, man.
there's some conversation between
Angelica.
whatever, some of the guys talking about, like framing the government and like what should they do and how should things work, and it's like, oh, how come
We're framing it for murder.
like how come New York, if they're in debt, why should Virginia have to pay for this, and trying to set like up a national bank and all whatever, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, that attitude right there is like, that's sucky attitude, poo-poo attitude, Thomas Jefferson.
Poopy.
And
Ew,
it's
stinky.
also not how people truly feel or act in real life. Your house burning down is exactly the
Look
example.
at me.
Exactly
Yes.
of what people do. We are happy to help. And you know how we all know it's like, a stranger just helped me out. Some person heard my story and whatever. Like, what we are truly willing to do. So don't give me that bullshit that people, I don't want though some racists and all that kind of stuff, they do say that, but they don't mean that. They're wrong when they say, I don't want my money spent on these people. And it's like, yes, motherfucker, you do, because you would help someone if you saw them.
Yeah.
You would
When it comes
feel
down to
bad for
it.
it. Yes, yeah, you would. And you do.
It's literally, I think of that often in just spats on the internet, which, you just always have to have for fun. Like, because when you think about some people, not for fun. It's not serious. I don't know how to say it. I haven't been podcasting for a little while, but, But yeah, thinking of someone saying, "Oh, this trans kid doesn't deserve this," or yada yada. It's like, I swear to God, if I put a gun to your head and made you say how you really felt to a kid's face, you wouldn't say that. You literally wouldn't.
I feel like
all this bluster about, I don't, whether it's minorities or the LGBTQ community, stuff like that, the things that people say, or they don't want certain people to have help, or this and that, or they're just vile things. It's like, you just wouldn't say that. Like, you would see another human being in real life, and generally speaking,
Chinese people look Chinese.
People look Chinese. Yeah. No, but generally speaking, you as a human being sees another human being, and you treat them like a human fucking being. Like, we
and if you don't
too much
at first,
of our
you would eventually. People would learn. That's always the fucking lesson. What are you going to always be, the old crotchety guy in Gran Torino? Or are you going to be Clint Eastwood at the end of the movie? Like, are you some horrible old racist? No, you wouldn't want to be portrayed that way. You wouldn't want people to see you that way either. People hate being called racist. People hate being called
a racist. Yeah. And it's like, and the thing is, of course, there are people that
are
comes
horrible
down to it.
And disgusting.
No, they are that vile and stuff. Yeah.
Vile,
and it's like, and you know what? Those are very, very few people, but our discourse overall, the way that we engage with policy, with our economy, just everything, is always swayed by those people, those people, who, when it comes down to it, who don't really represent how normal people act, how normal people see other human beings. But yeah, I mean, bringing it back to me, no, it has really been, it's like, it's amazing. So many people reached out, all these, I wish I could just list every one of my friends on Twitter. Like, yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like, it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it.
That sounds unbelievable.
It was incredible. No, yeah, but I was
sounds like you're
incredulous.
Sounds like your thesaurus burned up. Yeah, no.
It did, as did my Constitution and Federalist Papers. So we're starting from scratch here.
Yeah,
but
to build a more perfect union.
I mean, I wish I could, like I said, thank every single person, but like, it happened, and it's like, I hate to even ask for help or like use like tragedy or trauma to like bring attention to myself, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I do these people in my little phone in my pocket are my friends day to day, and it was just like, my house burned down. My house just burned down. And people are like, oh my God, are you like, say psych? Are you being serious? You can't be serious. And it's like, yeah, that's what you get for every once in a while shit posting doesn't help. And I'm usually not, but every once in a while I'll just be like, Rhonda Santis. No, but it's like, and I just posted, I said, I don't even know what to say. I'm not going to ask, but this is my Cash App if you want to help. And within 24 hours, it was like 12 hours, I had $1,500 just from people seeing it and just saying, oh my God, sorry, all I have is $20. Some people sending $100, $500. It's crazy. It's amazing. And it's like, and it's funny, it being so difficult to like accept it, like accept financial help, especially, because it's help, but it's money, but at the same time, every time you see something like that, or someone just gives $100, it's like, man, that's the number one thing I think of where it's like, I want to make more money because I want to be able to just be like, here's $100. Like, what a good feeling. Just be like, oh my God, here. Oh, you need gas money? Well, you're probably in need of other things too. Here's $500. Like, and people feel the same way that are in that position. Not everyone loses that sense of, not everyone follows that stupid fucking tired line of, oh, when you're younger, you're a liberal. When you're older, you're a conservative. You have brains or whatever. It's like, no, some people follow that because they have money and because of the fact that we live in an economy and not a society, as Natalie has said. You want to hold on to that. It's your lifeblood, and people become, very. You clutch onto that, and so people become more quote unquote conservative because they just don't want to, because they want to have money. But it's like so many people don't follow that. They have their values, their empathy, and they have something and they want to give it. All of these people that gave us clothes and furniture, and I mean, I moved in to the apartment at work, and the owner, he's like, oh my God, they were in the middle of renovating it. I mean, it's one of those coincidences that it was like, oh my God, where am I going to go? And immediately they're like, hey, you can move in here at the apartment. We'll have it ready. And I was like, hey, I've got a couch to sleep on. It's okay. But if I can move in there, that's amazing. And he says, no, we'll have it ready tomorrow. I said, you don't have to wear yourself out. It's okay. No, they stayed up until 1 o'clock in the morning, finishing everything up so that we could be here. And
and they were glad to do it,
yeah,
I'm sure.
just
I'm sure they were so incredibly glad to
and
be
it's
able
like
to help.
to do something for someone, like, man, and just to pay it forward and all this stuff, and people giving. I forgot I was going somewhere with that, but yeah, it's like it all adds up. It feels good on this end. One thing to know that when you, because I've given a few bucks here and there. Something happens to someone, a friend on Twitter, someone's trying to, hey, boost this. My friend can't make rent. They're going to be homeless or something. Here's their Cash App and their Venmo. It's like, I have $20. Like, I wish I could give more. I don't even know this person, but okay, here's that. And you go on living your own life, having a home and stuff like that. But to know for a fact that on the other end, it helped someone, that they felt that you were part of the many people that gave them some money so that they didn't become unhoused, or so that they got their medical procedure done, or got their car fixed so they could keep going to their shitty job like the rest of us, so we could keep moving, so we can all keep moving forward. It's like, we're all in this together. And yeah, and it's funny, I mean, I still, since it was Twitter, there were still a couple of immediate responses where it was like, wow. I mean, some people just are vile. And it's like, yeah, I mean, within 20 minutes or something, I don't know if I had an argument with this person before, or they just happened to see one of my friends reposting the fact that I needed help, but they were just like libtard owned. I was like, wow. And then someone else posting things of Aaron Bushnell. It's like, what a piece of shit, dude. Like, even
so
if
hilarious.
like,
wow, you should be a stand-up comedian.
Even like, I would help you if something like that happened. Like, I would give $5.
Nazis
I don't
deserve
know. I don't,
healthcare.
unless yeah, exactly. But it's like, man, the stuff that people do, all this ability that we have, and when we use it, like, man, there was a kid here in town. It's another thing too. I live in a small town. It's pretty amazing. Small town stuff. All this community and the things that that everyone's been doing. Like, this kid took it upon himself to do a bake sale out on the corner and raised money for us.
Oh.
And like, it was so sweet. Like, he's like 11 years old. And I think he knows my daughter, because I mean, it's a small town, you know, they go to the same school. I only have one school. But, and he was like, yeah, I want to make sure that they get this money. And he did it for 2 days and raised like $300 doing that. It was really sweet. But
Yeah.
anyway, like I said, it's not toxic masculinity. I think it's bad radio. I already hate my voice enough. So, but
Well, then I would recommend what I would really
but it's
recommend
been really amazing.
is
Okay.
is crying. You know, if you haven't, I'm sure you've done some of that.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But
I've done
really,
some of that.
really letting yourself let loose, because it's not just like a grief thing. It's like overwhelming,
Footloose.
like gratitude, you know, and like really like allowing that
Mm-hmm.
to like fill your whole self. Like that's like love. Yeah, people love you, and it's a lot, and it's really too bad, like, to feel like people like asking for help and all the kind of like hyper individualist kind of stuff, and it being money, and there's no such thing as a free lunch, and all these handouts and whatever, how people feel about
Yeah.
it, phrase it, when it's like literally, when it's, you see it in an 11-year-old boy. Of course, he probably has like nice parents and things like that, and there are all these lessons that we try to teach kids, and what they are is to share and to be nice and to be kind. And you know, it's not really that hard with little kids to instill those kinds of things, because that's how we are.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice to see. I feel like a little example of that, and like how incredibly sweet that is. Like, yeah, people just really,
Yes.
really wanting to help, and because they care, and all those friends in your pocket totally do want to help.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, shout out to all of my Twitter mutuals and stuff. Yeah, it was overwhelming. Yeah, I had like 40,000 views on that because people were making sure to repost it, and like it was funny. It's like, talk about a good problem to have, or like whatever, but that night and the next night too, it was just, everything was so just dead-headed fog. I smelled like smoke so bad, and like just sitting there not being able to just go to sleep, you know. But and so just like on my phone doing this and that, and just what a good problem to have. To talk about first world problem, just the the emails and notifications. It's funny because it's like, but then it's a reminder. People are seeing that and they're like, hey, here's this, or someone leaves a little note and stuff. It's like by the end of the first night, I have like 95 emails because of all the Cash App things and people giving money, and and even my my work, which it's funny how it's like, and I work for, a very corporate kind of thing. I complain about them constantly, like and some of the stupid
Because
shit
they
they
suck.
do. But it's something like this where I would, if this happened to anyone else, like I would be looking at this, being like, time to put your fucking money where your mouth is now. And I feel like they kind of did. So, and it was like, hey, if you're going to be one of these corporate things talking about how we're a family or something, it's like, well, what are you going to do? And they really did. It was like, the president of the company personally, he FedExed a check over to make sure that we had money, and he donated a bunch to the GoFundMe and matched, and is matching every one of my coworkers' donations and stuff. And yeah, because my ex-wife, shout out to her, of course, she's done so much for this. Thank God that I have her, and we're on such better terms now that we're not married anymore. But she's arranged so much of this, and she set up a GoFundMe, and when it first happened, and then after the people like in town, you see the names that are coming in and stuff. She's like, I don't know who these people are. She's like, I don't recognize these names. It's really reaching. I was like, oh my God, these are all people from work, people that I see in Zoom meetings. I just know their names, or I see them at the conference just like once a year, So, but yeah, it's like, what's funny is that you're talking about how difficult it is to accept this stuff in this hyper individualist society and stuff. It really is true. It stinks.
Yeah.
Like I've talked about it before when seeing it with other people, how it's like, oh, I don't need this money. I've just known people like this where it's like, well, I'm not gonna take this food stamp money, or I don't need help with Medicare and stuff. Things that people qualify for. They qualify for help, but it's like, no, I'm not gonna take that because there's like this weird principle thing where it's like, no, if you can be getting help that's there for you, you need to take it. Like this is how this all works, and then
It's like you have
finally being on the receiving end of something like this, where I'm like, no, I've got my essentials, I've got this, I'm working with insurance. It's like, I shouldn't be getting all this. I shouldn't be getting all this support. It's it's a feeling that's really hard to shake. Where if I saw anyone else in my position, I'd be like, knock it off. Like,
Yeah.
people want to help you. You qualify for help. Take the help.
Because you know what?
Life is short. You need this.
Do you know how you can reframe it, Doug?
Yeah.
You can remember that it is a gift to let someone give something to you. It is an absolute gift to be able to say thank you, and that person wanted to give you a gift. They wanted to say, here, I did this for you, I made this for you, I want this for you, this is what I want to give to you. And like the more people are like, no, it's like, you're kind of ruining this for me. This is kind of about me wanting to give this to you, and I'm not doing it. I'm not keeping track. There's no sort of obligation exactly. It's like, I want to do this. Do I have any sort of like, am I a master of my own life? Can I do this or no? Like, it's not like, this is not controlling you. It's like, can I hand you something? No. I haven't earned it or whatever. It's like, you don't have to. I want to give this to you because I care. That is, there is no value sort of thing attached to it. It's my feelings about you.
Do it for me.
Exactly.
Do it for me. Yeah. This gift for you, you accept for
This is
me.
a gift for me
Yeah, it's
to
like
give it to you because it feels so good.
Think about it.
Make you feel
Christmas
good.
time.
Yes.
Yeah, we think about it Christmas time where it's already like, it's the season to give, We all know that. We all talk about it. It's about giving gifts is the good, best feeling part of it. I mean, at least when you're not a kid anymore, especially.
Yeah, it's like I don't care what I get for Christmas.
Give someone something.
I want to give a gift. I want to wrap it for someone.
I want to give some stuff, yeah. And it's like, that, just maybe rooted in the fact that we live in an economy, not a society, where at the root of everything, you're conditioned to feel like things are transactional no matter what. Like that everything is a transaction. So even if you don't think so, like explicitly, then you've been propagandized to think everything is like on a ledger, somehow.
Balance
like
it out.
You've been exactly.
Doubly
it's like,
hard
no,
or
people
triply or 10 times as hard for men. I mean, talk about hyper independence, not just American culture, like on top of that, like toxic masculinity and like what that means, like those things that are the problems that the patriarchy brings along and all the kind of things that are masculine. Talk about like not asking for help, the lone wolf, the cowboy, all these kinds of archetypes that do it on their own. And like, that's how they do it. They don't need anybody to help. And they, blah, 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 blah. That's like the idealistic sort of thing. particularly in America, maybe, but who,
Don't
a
need
big
no help from
broadly
nobody.
too. Yeah, that strong silent type takes care of his own
I
shit.
don't
and
want
all
your
that.
charity.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, I can't just be nice to another person. Thanks.
No, fuck you.
Yeah, I guess you can't be nice to another person.
It's like, it's funny how it's like, oh, thank God that I'm a girl dad. Thank God that I have a daughter. So I can justify getting all this support and help. Well, I mean, it's really because Sophia needs things. Sophia, this has been a huge issue for her. It's like, and then you think about it, it's like, why do you need to justify this to yourself?
Your house
idiot?
burned down.
You're just you're human beings. Yeah. People want to help. So,
yeah, people.
And
remember that people want to help. They want to do that. They are taking the time out because it's something they want to do. There's a lot of choices people can make in life. They can choose to ignore it. They can want to do that. They want to do that. When they say, is there something I can do to help? People are not offering just because they're offering, just to say something. They're offering because it's if there's a way I can help, please let me know. I would be more than happy to do something for you. It's what,
it's all because, and it makes it so tough because money is just so dirty. It's just but money is
it's a necessity.
We live in America. Money is as important as water, and it's just a way for you to have your essentials. It's like something that it'll just make my day if I'm at Walmart and some short lady says is trying to reach for something way up on the rack. I'm like, here, I'll get that for you because I'm.
And then you take it and just walk away.
An averaged height male, But it's just like, oh yeah, just one thing. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, I'm too short.
Happy to help.
One little thing like that. It's like, oh, you feel good. You just help someone, or you give someone $5 that's standing on the corner with the cardboard sign, or jumpstart someone in the parking lot. Little things like that. It's like, well, that made me feel good because it feels good.
I just
to help people.
I just jump people in
just
the parking
a little
lot.
thing like that. It's like, yeah. I jump start.
I jump scare people in the parking lot.
Jump scare. I hide behind their car and I go, ah! And they drop all of their
And then I
stuff.
take
I'm
their
like,
things.
hey, can I pick that up for you? Yeah. I was like, and then
steal
it's like,
their
oh, I
wallet.
can help.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, exactly. And then I take a picture of their license plate and I post
And I
it
steal
on
their
Twitter.
identity. Yeah.
But I'd be like, all right, internet, do your thing. I'm like, do
And then
what,
they get a bunch of stuff.
What did this person do?
Yeah, donated to them.
Yeah.
Nice internet.
Just some random lady. Yeah. Well, this wins the internet for today. Wholesome award. You give me your updoots.
Hey, God.
So either way, next episode we'll just talk about stuff. Talk about
things.
stuff better. Let's see, Trump winning. I do have previous notes on here and stuff.
already over
I need
an
to
hour,
sort
though.
through all this. But yeah, no, I'm saying there's stuff that I could bring up. Oh, dang it. Yeah, it's over an hour and I was going to add something to the MOPG, but I'll just say it real quick, okay? You know what's really stupid? So, I already feel bad enough just buying new stuff, even though I have $200,000 in insurance coverage to replace my stuff.
And
so it's
no thing, and no
it's
stuff.
okay, and people are wanting to help. Yeah, exactly. And I have no things, but it's like, so I was like, and the back of my head, I have to justify it. Well, this is the same price as the TV that I have that burned up in the fire. You already feel bad about just buying a brand new TV, but it's like, oh, but Sophia really likes it, so she gets we'll have a new TV. So I buy a nice brand new TV and get a sound bar, and I have my setup. You watched, oh man, you weren't here with the sound bar though. It would have been great watching that movie that shall not be named. So I get a Vizio sound bar, And then I get the computer so we can record stuff. I can't figure out like a monitor. So I was just like, hey, Vizio TV right here at Walmart. Just this small, it's like a, 24-inch or 29-inch, whatever this is. This TV's right here. It's $89. Boom. Perfect. I'll just get that. Just plug in a TV. So I get a Vizio TV. And since they're all so awesomely easily connected, now every time I go to turn on my TV with the sound bar, my fucking monitor comes on. It just automatically pairs with the remote. So I'm like changing stuff on the TV. My monitor is going off and on because I have them in the same room. I'm like, how do I unpair this remote? I'm looking through like stuff on Google and reading on Reddit. Nothing's like, I've seen someone, I finally find someone with kind of the same problem where they're like, I have this Vizio TV, but then I have this smaller Vizio that I use as a monitor. It's in the same room, and the remote keeps adjusting both of them. How do I make this stop? And really, the only thing that can get it to stop is I'm going to have to put some electrical tape over the sensor. No, I mean, turn off the monitor. Then I go turn on my TV. The monitor comes on too.
Like unplug it.
I start adjusting the volume. It's like, oh yeah, unplug it. Yeah, that's true. But it's like, really? Like,
totally,
this will solve it. Like, I don't know. Oh, I guess you can't see on the camera, but as I was adjusting it before, because I had to use the remote, I was like, I got to adjust the screen on this. So I just put like a pillow in front of the other TV so that the sensor was covered up. I was like, this is so stupid.
It's so stupid. It's like, I can't say don't connect to this.
Really
I can't
funny.
connect. It's like, I don't want to connect to this one. I don't want to connect to this one.
It's not even the remote that came with it.
Yeah, it's like I don't have a
that's
choice.
Sitting in a drawer with no batteries in it. It was just really funny. It's like, I don't want to, this little TV, it was just a good deal. I don't need to set up the internet on it. I don't need to set up a Netflix account. Just plug in the HDMI, turn it on, and it's on. But no.
No.
I just looked over as I was like watching Andor last night, and then I adjust the volume, and then the monitor's on, and it's like the volume's turning up. There's nothing plugged into it. I was like, oh my god! But
so
it was funny,
annoying.
It was a funny little problem to have. Yeah, I'm like, well, and I couldn't find the fucking sensor, but I just figured it out today. So I'm just gonna have to get black electrical tape, cover it up, and that's gonna be that. Or I'll just a sticky note, and I'll write something like "love yourself" or some stupid shit like that, and then just put it on there.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, there's a cute sticky note on there, but it's really just covering up the sensor. Yeah, some stupid shit like, I don't know, Jesus saves or some, like Joe Biden
Diversifies.
2024.
Yeah. That's on
Yeah.
Jesus saves,
Yeah.
but so and so. I feel like that's like from "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" or something. But
Yeah. Oh man. Ugh, I was just talking about that movie today. Anyway, let's let's get going. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" for the next 42 minutes. Anyway, I love you.
I love you.
Shout out to everyone. Like, you know who you are. Everyone who listens to this already knows all of this crap. But shout out to R.M. Brown, Big Time, and the Muscular Class, and everyone on Twitter. And I love you. And I guess you won't hear it. But, oh my God. But it's time.
Bitches leave.
Okay. Love you, bye.
I love you. Bye.